Hi, all. Welcome back to One Pitch Catch. The ICC T20 World Cup has been going on for, I think, almost a week plus now. Let's take a quick look at the points table. Group A, most likely India and Pakistan should get through. There's the match coming up day after, I think. Yeah, as of now, it's been very on and off. And because the other thing is that next, they will meet only if they both qualify for the semifinals. They are not going to meet in the Super 8 stage, which could work both ways. On the one hand, you lose out on another India-Pakistan match, but on the other hand, sometimes it's just overdose as well. So maybe it's not a bad thing by itself. Group B, Sri Lanka should get through. Australia, I mean, technically should. There is a game underway right now with Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe's set a 170 target, and Australia are kind of tottering at 27 for 3. So it's going to be a little interesting how this plays out. And the other thing is that Australia has lost quite a few bowlers. In fact, today also Marcus Stoinis has got injured while bowling. So I think their bowling is not necessarily in good shape.
I
We'll
don't
try and
know.
get to that.
Yeah, I mean,
Thing.
for people who don't follow cricket very often and follow only the T20s or here and there, no, that team is unrecognizable, Jaga. If you see that 11, except for one or two names.
Yeah. I
So
think
that is
Zampa is probably the only one that's prominent enough that has played around, played for a while.
Travis Head.
Yeah, I mean, not as a bowler, I meant.
Okay, okay. As a bowler, yes,
And
that's true.
yeah. And Group C, West Indies should get through. The question is whether England will be able to make it. They kind of barely won against Nepal, then they lost against West Indies. They do have, I think, Scotland and Italy are the other two teams in the group, so they should be okay. But they do have a bad net run rate for sure. So if some game gets rained out, then they could be in some trouble. Group D, I think New
I think
Zealand and South Africa.
something like sorry to interrupt. I think England has not beaten Scotland in a ICC game or
Oh, is it? Oh,
some
okay.
weird
Oh,
stat
okay.
I've heard somewhere. I think
They have lost like a few times. I know they've not
I
lost to
think I think
Netherlands
they've
and
never beaten Scotland in a ICC
oh,
event
okay.
or something like that. Once I
Oh,
heard,
okay. Maybe that's true.
so that could be
Never
interesting.
know.
But the
Yeah,
way
correct.
they scraped through to Nepal also they were very
And
lucky to
maybe
get.
they should be scared about Italy. They scrape through against Nepal. Italy beats Nepal by 10 wickets. So maybe there is a problem
So
brewing.
that is good.
And Group D, I think it's unfortunately for Afghanistan, it's fairly straightforward right now. Most likely New Zealand and South Africa will get through.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the South Africa game was gut wrenching, I'm sure. Like you
Benching,
can get
yes.
through two super overs and you had
And
to
that's
score
it.
24, was it the
And
second super over
24,
target?
four balls,
Ah,
24 to get. He hits three sixes.
and then he doesn't do the last one. Yeah.
That's it. In fact,
So,
yesterday when Ishan Kishan hit four sixes of JJ Smith, I was
ah,
thinking how Raman
yeah,
Gurbaz would
exactly.
have
Yeah.
wanted those four sixes in a row.
And but I kind of feel that Afghanistan probably, caused that to themselves. Like it's just bewildering to see Rashid Khan not bowling either of the two super overs. He's their
Definitely.
best bowler. He's probably among the best T20 bowlers around right now. He's got close to like 700 T20 wickets or something like
I
that.
think he's on
And
699, I think.
yeah, something like that. And he was saying I'll get to 7,000 also if I if I continue playing. And then Ramanala Gurbaz doesn't get to play until like the nothing is left basically,
Yeah,
right?
see,
So and
basically,
it's baffling why he
I,
didn't.
I don't know why you would send Nabi ahead of Gurbaz.
Yeah,
And Gurbaz
yeah. I
has
mean,
scored a
supposed to be a spin hitter and all that, but Gurbaz is definitely a better batsman than Nabi. So
Nabi
so in a sense, they basically I think brought it upon themselves.
and that
I don't
spin
know what
hitting
sort of
also
decision making.
is not sure because you didn't know that Keshav Maharaj was going to bowl. You just
That's
spent
true. That's true.
you didn't know they could have bowled Ngidi or
Yeah, yeah.
Rabada. I mean, probably not Rabada because
Not
Rabada was
Rabada.
the one. Rabada if Rabada had tried a little bit, he wouldn't have allowed the super overs to happen. He would have
Correct. Yeah.
given away the runs in that over.
Yeah. Yeah. But one thing that's kind of interesting, and maybe you've observed this as well, these so-called minnow teams or these minor teams, what associates, whatever you want to call them, they seem to be making a bit of a mark. They're not getting over the line, which kind of is sad. But they are making a mark. You saw how, for example, I think Pakistan was stretched in the first game. India was stretched by USA, like 6 down for 70 or something like that. Pretty much every. I think maybe Canada has probably not had an impact, and maybe I don't think Italy and Oman have had an impact. But I think most of the other teams are definitely having an impact. Like, why is that? Is that a surprise? Should we continue to expect that?
No, I think it is not. I wouldn't say it's a surprise or not, Jaga, but either way, I like the way they are playing. They're competing with the way. I mean, they're not. I feel they're not overawed by the occasion of playing in
Hmm.
India or Australia. The way they put up fights, even yesterday, the way, in fact, Namibia
Yeah.
looked like stretching India at one point of time when they
Yeah.
batted for the first 6, 7 overs. I mean, probably reaching 210 would have been a little difficult for them, but
Yeah.
again, the inexperience showed when they went for the shots and things. But I feel they're not getting enough games with the bigger
Hmm.
teams. Say UAE and Nepal play often, Canada, I don't know, Italy, all these teams play among themselves. I think if they play better teams, they will be better equipped
Yeah.
to, and
Sure.
especially they face the better teams, the Indias, the Pakistans, the Australias, only in these World Cups. It is not
Correct.
helping
Yeah.
them. So at least some of the Asian teams like Oman and Hong Kong at least compete in the Asia Cup.
Oh, right. Yes. Yes.
I don't know what happens with Namibia
Or
or
even
Scotland or
Scotland and
Italy.
Netherlands, and I think it's two-edged. On the one hand, maybe the fact that they don't play against these bigger teams is probably what's causing these surprise uh, events. Not necessarily a full match surprise, but at least they're able to catch the bigger teams a little short. Maybe
Mhm.
that comes into the picture because there's probably not enough video footage and things like that, right? But on the
Mhm.
other hand, you're right. I mean, like for example, the USA, they had got to the second round in the 2024 T20 World Cup. They beat Pakistan and they did pretty well, and they have basically played one T20 match against the other major teams. See, in
Mhm.
the last 1.5 years, we're talking of like from the like early July is probably, I think 29th of June 24 was when the previous World Cup ended till early Feb. They played
Yes.
one. Other teams like Canada and Namibia have not even played. I can understand maybe Italy not getting a chance because they were a late qualifier, but I think you're right. I mean, the exposure that some of these countries are getting, the ones in Asia, through participation in the Asia Cup, I think it's high time for that. Maybe the ICC should ensure that there are these, like there's an Asia Cup, there should probably be like an Africa's Cup and a Europe Cup and maybe an America's Cup. America's Cup is I think it's a racing event or a
Yeah.
golf event, but something like that, right?
Cricket
Where
America.
you
Cricket America.
yeah, cricket. Yeah, I think the ICC should do something about it, because then these countries are, even if they play, say, the B team of or the A team of the major countries, maybe it's like a couple of national team players and mostly say seven or eight A side or B side players. That's still going to push them. It'll help them improve because the community is a pretty small community. It's really only in the last 10 years that we have expanded these World Cups to like 20 teams and things like that. Before that, basically everything was those top 12, maximum 14 sides. Now it's
That's
a
because
small
of
enough
T20.
community.
That's because of
Yeah,
T20.
exactly. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's helped get there, right? Only when the T20 World Cup started and it became established. Now, when you don't give these teams an opportunity and you suddenly expect them to show up at a major event, it could be demoralizing if they get smacked left, right, and center. Then the development in those countries just gets stalled. And like, why would cricket? Like, I'm just taking an example. Let's say Oman doesn't do well at all, and then the Cricket Association of Oman is probably going to be like, why are we spending money on pitches and training and things like that, right? Or even coaches. Dulip Mendes is their coach. So all those decisions can get taken, and that doesn't take the game forward. It doesn't spread the game also,
So
which again makes it a very small game.
So I think so. What we're trying to say, Jaga, is I mean these teams, these smaller teams like Canada, Nepal, Oman, they play among themselves a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot, not as lot as
yeah,
India or
correct.
Pakistan or Australia. But I think they should be given opportunity to play the bigger teams also. They get selected on their smaller groups. They they play their pools and come
Correct.
qualify to the World Cup. But before the World Cup, I mean, Nepal luckily got to play a three T20 series with West Indies and
Yes.
won also
Yes. Yes.
recently. But otherwise, I don't see these smaller teams. I mean, if Zimbabwe and Afghanistan should not be considered as associate teams because
Yeah.
they.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
So other teams, we don't see them often playing the bigger teams. At least these the top
Yeah.
eight, nine. Even with Bangladesh, they don't play. I mean, Bangladesh was not playing this World Cup for other reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Correct.
don't see them see a Nepal or any of these Omans playing Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. Even these,
Yeah. They're
like you
not.
said,
Yeah.
ICC should do something about it. Probably ICC and BCCA, the proximity for both of them, they should. BCCA should probably include one associate player to be in every 11 of an IPL match.
Yeah, that's or at least in the squad or something like that, right? Or maybe bring in some of these associate countries into a domestic tournament, like make them play in the Mushtaq Ali Trophy or things like that. There's so many things that can be done. But I kind of think that the associate votes don't matter anymore. I don't. I know in the 90s and 2000s, and when you had, especially when you had Jagmohan Dalmia and IS Bindra. One of the things that they really discovered was to how to use the associates votes to get more votes than England and Australia, who would have been working with West Indies and New Zealand and South Africa. What they found was that the associates still had a vote and they were not using it. So that's how I believe that's how the 96 World Cup actually came to India. It was
Hmm.
originally supposed to be played in Australia or New Zealand or something like that. So, but once the BCCI basically took over ICC, which is basically, ICC is just BCCI reversed minus the B. That's how it is right now. Once they took it over, they didn't need those associate votes anymore, I think. So therefore, it seems like they couldn't care less, and they'll probably, give a little of assistance to Asian minor countries because some optics have to be managed,
Yes,
right? But they
yes,
couldn't
yes.
care less about the others, and that's just sad.
Yeah, that is that. Like you say, at least in the squad of IPL, one associate member should be picked. So,
Yeah,
and in fact, most of these teams would be very happy to come and play the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy.
yeah,
As
exactly.
Oman, as Nepal,
Yeah.
they would be more than happy to come and play as another team.
Or
In
you
fact,
have a mixed group, no? You bring in, say, one representative from each of those countries, make a squad, and play 4 or 5 games of the SMA Trophy or any of the other
no, no,
tournaments.
even as a team, Jaga, because see, once I remember, and one England team came from England for to play the Deodhar or Dulip Trophy once.
Oh,
This
okay,
was years
okay.
ago. Okay,
Yeah,
there
yeah,
was an
yeah. I
English
remember.
team
Yes,
which was playing. I'm not
correct,
able to
correct.
recollect whether it's Deodhar or Dulip. So they played those games. So it is definitely useful. Expand the SMAT and which gives more exposure to the Indian state players also
Yeah,
playing against
exactly.
these
Yeah,
countries. So that is a great opportunity uh, for India and Australia, who have a very good domestic structure, to
yeah,
include these things
correct.
within the domestic games. That would be a good
Absolutely. Yeah,
opportunity. If not, if the main senior teams like the India and Australia cannot go and play them often,
correct. Yeah,
even them bowling to people like to on the verges like Vaibhav Suryavanshi.
yeah,
Imagine
yeah,
Oman and Nepal bowling to Vaibhav Suryavanshi and Ayush Matre.
yeah,
They
yeah.
would love to play against them
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
find a way. Hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, we can but hope. I hope that the ICC does something. I think we'll just have to wait and watch, see how it plays out over the next couple of years because the World Cup will come back again in a couple of years' time. Let's see what happens then. I think that's pretty much it for this episode. So again, we'll come
As we are
back.
about to wrap, Australia is in a little bit of more trouble, 38 for 4 in 6 overs.
Oh yeah, they're 4 down. Yes, correct.
Hmm.
So. And that's like 132 runs in 14 overs.
But
It's going to be
Maxwell and
interesting, but I think
Renshaw,
they'll get home. Maxwell is
uh,
there.
Maxwell is there, so he'll do
He's
that
going to blow hot
Afghanistan
vocal.
game.
So I think today is his on day or something like that. Basically, they should make sure that he doesn't get like a hamstring injury or cramp or something like that.
If he gets that, he scores the
If he
entire
gets that,
score.
he's going to hit you out. So anyway, so yeah, great. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll wrap up and we'll come back again in a few days' time with more of the T20 World Cup, especially. Until
Thank
then,
you.
bye. Please keep watching, leave your comments, and subscribe.